Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and today is day number 126 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And we have our service hero with us from, you're in Utah today, right, Sarah?
Yeah, today. Today,
Okay.
right now I'm in Bountiful. I'm traveling, so I'm in my car. But yes,
Okay, well,
Utah.
that's okay. We don't hold that against you. I've been traveling a lot too lately.
Yeah.
So we have our service hero, Sarah Price, there
Prince.
in
Sorry,
Utah. Prince, sorry,
Prince. Yeah, it's okay. Common
Prince.
mistake.
Oh, and that is even better after what we were just talking about, and we'll go into that in a moment. I want to recognize Sarah for. I wanted to bring her on as a service hero. She was actually referred to me by one of my mentors, and I'm sure someone that Sarah feels as deeply about, and that's Allison
hmm
Larson. And Allison was like, "You need to meet this person," and I respect her, and I'm like, "Okay, absolutely, I need to meet her." So we had an opportunity to meet in Park City,
hmm
there in the beautiful snow, there with your son, I believe, just as cute as can be.
Yeah, he was in tow.
Yeah, not in tow, and you start talking about what it is that you're doing and helping people to understand. And I was watching just now one of your lives, and I thought, man, you have the greatest spirit. You have the kindest way of delivering a message, and your
Thank
message,
you.
you're welcome. And you have a podcast that I think exemplifies, the name of it exemplifies everything that I'm saying, and that is Breakthrough to Your Beautiful Life.
Mhm.
Thank you for doing that. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. I'm all flattered now. Thank you, Tamara.
You're welcome. I want to learn more about you, and when we were just talking now, and Prince, I'm thinking, oh, how appropriate is that? Because you just had a Facebook Live that I was absolutely, I mean, I'm right there with it. And I had to actually get off of it because a phone call came in. And that's why I asked you, okay, what's the moral of the story? I couldn't wait.
Catch me up.
I need to
Yeah.
hear. And you were talking about how when you so many of us have grown up in the modern day, my kids generation, they had the cartoons, and myself, the books, about stories, fairy tales, and your opinion about fairy tales. Let's talk. What is your opinion?
Oh, sure. I'm glad that you asked this today because it's still fresh on my mind from my broadcast yesterday. And let me backtrack a little bit because when we grow up and become an adult, we're often told, like, life isn't a fairy tale. You need to be
Mhm.
realistic, right?
Right.
Having a relationship does not feel like a fairy tale. And it's so sad. It's so sad because it's like shattering a child's dream, right? They usually, we grow up with these stories or these fairy tales, and what it breaks my heart because my perspective is that you absolutely can have a fairy tale life. You are living it right now. Because, and I was telling you earlier, Tamara, the people that create a story, that write a story like a fairy tale or write a book or write a movie, they are using the same creative energy in their mind and in their heart that we use to create our lives every day.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is a fairy tale has a quote-unquote ending, right? Happily ever after. The book closes or the movie's over, the end. But we know that that isn't the end. That's just a tiny little snapshot of that individual story, that character's story. And you are just like them because you have all of these little snapshots in your own life, all of these chapters, right? All of these scenes. And we were talking about Beauty and the Beast, for example. Belle goes through these terrible tragedies and these wonderful highs,
Mm-hmm.
just like you and I do.
Right.
Things are wonderful and miraculous, and then things are terrible and tragic. It's just like real life. And the feelings that a fairy tale captures, the ones that when we think often of a fairy tale, we think of, oh, the magic, the uplifting, happy feelings, right, that we get from those stories. Even after we've been drugged through the mud with the character, we still think about the feelings that lift us up. And that's why we love them, right?
Right.
The same feelings can be captured in our own life. When we look back on our life, are we looking back, or even right now, reflecting on how our life is now, are you looking at the feelings that uplift you? Are you putting the things in your life that are giving you that magical feeling? Because I know everyone in this world has felt something that they can call magic. And so that's why I say your life absolutely is a fairy tale. It just depends on how you look at it, because the book isn't closed. It's not the end right now. It's still
Right.
going on. Yeah.
Right. Right. Like you said, it's not life does not have that hard stop, is how you put it when we were talking.
Yes.
Because, and I was like, oh, you're right. Absolutely. I get it. Because, I mean, in truth, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. But yeah, I love fairy tales too. And, I'm a big proponent of them. When growing up, much of the time I was a single mom, and I love movies just in general. So I was the blockbuster of the street. I had the collection, and people would they come sign out movies, and
Yeah.
I have 4 of them, and they would get to pick, go in a row on movie night. We'd have dinner together, we'd have popcorn, and we would have a movie. And I started it where we were going like, okay, we're going to start with the old-fashioned Disney fairy tales again. Let's go all, and so it would be like, okay, I'm picking this one and that, and I really loved doing that with them because they were young enough, they were close enough in age, and there were so many lessons that are taught in variety type.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then as they started introducing the stronger characters, which I had no problem with, the stronger women characters, right? Okay, doing that's not a bad thing. But when they started, kind of like, okay, fairy tales, it's not that's just like, okay, poo. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm sorry, but in my household, we dealt with a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily fun. But you're right. They do too. These characters. I mean, one of them fighting dragons, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Fighting dragons these days. You might feel like it, but so I just wanted to say thank you, Sarah, for that, because it was just fun to listen to you take that stand. And I thought, I like this young lady, because that's the thing to do, is to take a stand that some people may come out after you and say, what in the world are you thinking, girl? Right?
Hey, if I don't resonate with you, that's no worries. That's not about me, that's about them. But I know that the message touches a lot of folks. I mean, and this is just one little thing that I've shared recently. But it's interesting. It's interesting.
Well, let's talk about interesting. Okay, so breakthrough to your beautiful life. And then you have breakthrough, and then enlightenment experience. Okay, so the enlightenment experience. So you're helping people. Is it mostly women, or who are the people that you're really working with? I really want to get to know, because
Sure. No,
I find it fascinating. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I help everyone as far as male and female, but it's usually about 2/3 female, 2/3 ladies. So I show individuals that are already driven, they're already achievers, They already know how to take action in their life. They just don't understand why they aren't feeling joy. They don't understand why they aren't feeling fulfilled in their life. They're grateful because they know they're blessed. And on the outside, people look at them and compliment them for how successful they are. Yet they, deep down inside, they wonder, if I'm doing everything right, how come I don't feel right? And so I help them rediscover the parts of themselves that they actually have not nourished. Because everything we see on the physical side, the actions we take, the goals we achieve, the achievements or titles that we acquire, that is all physical.
Right.
But we have layers within ourselves, 3 other layers that I help them nourish and grow, that supports everything else beyond the physical side. Because, I mean, you can grow, well, this is the example I love to use because it's so relatable. Tamara, did you ever play that game called Jenga? With the blocks, and you'd pull out one and see how high you could stack it. Right. So the blocks are all of the things that we're trying to build in our life, right? Achievement, family, whatever. And what always happens, right, just as the game goes, we pull out blocks from underneath to try and reach higher. And we wonder why everything we try to do falls out from underneath us. And it's because we have building blocks in our foundation that are not being used. And you can wrap it all up in self-love and self-care. There's so much more to that, which I go through in the enlightenment experience. But that is the foundation that most people do not have. They're trying to build a pyramid on a toothpick because they haven't nourished or supported themselves beyond just making others happy. And so that is what I do. That is who I work with.
That's great. In fact, Teresa Snyder, she's rediscovered parts of us that need nourishing, and then she's like, Jenga is the game analogy, and she's just like right there with you, and
I want to connect with her more. I know Teresa, she's great. Yeah.
She's so much fun. She's so much fun.
Yes.
So, okay, you look so young. I'm sure everybody is thinking the very thing that I am, and I get that, and oftentimes we can look a lot younger, and often, the old souls, I think many times have fresh faces. But how did you get into this? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's like, I'm fascinated by you because you look so young. You have such an old soul. You've got great information. You're making a difference. You got a podcast. You got programs. How did this all happen?
Sure. No, thank you. I finally crossed over that line between, everyone thinks I'm 14 to, oh, no, she's actually older than I thought.
I didn't say, but I might have been.
No, it's fine. My whole life growing up, everyone thought I was, a decade younger than I am, and I'm 32. Actually, I know I look younger than that. But no, I'm finally out of people thinking I'm a teenager. So I'm like, yes. But when I'm 60, I'll look 40, right? So it's a win-win eventually, right? Anyway, no, that's funny. How did I get into all this? It's a crazy story because just like the people that I help, I was one of the realistic ones that followed the realistic path. I went to school and got straight A's and got a degree in engineering of all things and worked a corporate job and did pretty well for myself. And one day I just had a horrible experience at work where my boss was ripping into me, and I realized that I didn't love what I did. I had built my pyramid on a toothpick, and everything I had done was because what I thought I should do. And so I started this whole journey of transforming myself. At the time, I had been blogging just on the side to make a few extra dollars, and I was helping pregnant moms get ready for natural birth and how to get through a natural birth the way that they wanted to. And because I'd done so myself, so I just learned how to blog. I just started blogging just for fun as a hobby. But then after this terrible day at my corporate job, I decided, oh my gosh, I've had it. This is it. I want to work for myself. I'd heard about all these things of people working for themselves, and I'm going to turn my side hustle into my main source of income. And I actually told this story at my Illuminate event a few weeks ago, and it was really funny, because what most people don't know is when I set that goal to quit my job, I was laid off 3 months later. And myself how to grow, how to be more fulfilled in my life, because I was owning every moment of it, right? I wasn't following the quote realistic path anymore. And I mean, through lots of experiences with traveling all over the world and working with coaches, I finally just woke up one day and realized, oh my gosh, I love to speak. I love to teach. And that is what I'm going to do. And I had found my purpose, right? And it wasn't one just moment. It just all kind of came together, and it just started to flow. And yeah, there's a picture for me, the Illuminate. How'd you pull that up? That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, the Illuminate.
There's another one.
You just
Yeah.
had that recently, right?
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I love all your graphics. Whoever does, do you do all your own graphics?
Yeah, I did all that.
Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
you are talented. You are a talented woman, and I love the looks of all of your information, because it's like it's clean. It has a certain flair, and usually when you can see something like this, you know that there's so much more. And when I saw this, and you just being just so natural up there, it it makes complete sense now with your story. An engineer that ends up,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that you shared the fact that you were a straight A student. You were following the rules, if you will. You were doing what it was laid out to do to have a proper, successful life, right? And all of a sudden you're realizing it's really not the life that you wanted.
No, it was a total
And
farce. Yeah.
yeah, I think there's so many people. In fact, we're getting so much love, and I'm not even keeping up with it. And Teresa is definitely bombing us with a bunch of love, and I'm loving the love.
I'm gonna have to check it all out when we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, that she's going to be in November. She's going to be in Salt Lake in November, and then she talks about, also she's relating with the built my pyramid on a toothpick. I love that phrase. That I've never heard it before, and I'm sure others have, but I haven't. And that's great. And and she's talking about she wants to learn about Be Live TV, and then she wants to learn about your graphics. And so Teresa will hook you up. Okay.
We're gonna hook up. No worries.
Okay. So now I found also that you have been involved in group activities. You were up at the Park City, right? The one that was before the one I went to. And
the retreat.
Right, the retreat. And then I think possibly some of these pictures are even from your event. And I love it when people do this kind of stuff, because it shows the fact that when like-minded people come together, and that there's a lot of them out there. And with your message being one of, what are you waiting for? Life is too short to not be doing what you want to be doing, right? It
Absolutely
is. And now I'm getting all of it, and there's always wisdom in everything that Allison does and how she does it. And I just am fascinated by her. And the breakthrough to your beautiful life. So that breakthrough in you was the aha that you wanted to turn that side gig, the blogging or having your own business, into your main time activity. And that was what was going to be Sarah's beautiful life, correct?
Yeah, yes and no. Like at the time, I didn't know exactly what it would look like. I just
Okay.
knew for sure, like when I was making the change from working a corporate job to working for myself, I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know how to do it all. I just knew for sure that I wanted to do what I wanted to do because I had convinced myself for so long that what I had is what I wanted. And us as
Okay.
moms do this every single day. And
Yeah.
it took me a long time to figure out, well, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of deep reflection. What is it I actually want? What do I want to
Okay.
do? How do I want to feel? What do I want to have in my life? Where do I want to go? What do I want to see? And I started, that's kind of where it all started churning up. And it developed into like the Illuminate event and the podcast and the speaking. I thought I was just going to blog forever and be a mom that works at home. But it's, and I try not to say but, I'm eliminating it from my vocabulary.
Oh, you and me
And
both. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's evolved. I
Hmm.
just finally kind of in the past 6 months hit a point where I realized, oh my gosh, this is
Hmm.
absolutely what I want to do. And so anyone that like with the podcast Breakthrough to Your Beautiful Life, whatever someone's like, however you want your life to look like,
Hmm.
whatever you want to feel like through the podcast, I help them kind of open up their mind and become aware of, okay, what am I really doing? Am I serving myself? Am I not? Where am I? Clarity and awareness about where they actually are, because it's never what you think it is. And
Truth.
we're so complex and dynamic, and there's so many layers to us that it
Mhm.
can't be figured out in an instant. And I no way have totally figured myself out. It's a lifetime to master that. Yet once you hit a new level of awareness or a whole new level of understanding about yourself, you just want more,
Right.
right? You just want to,
Yeah.
at least for me,
Yeah. No.
maybe there's others in the world that absolutely don't want to more, but at least for me, I just want to know more all the time. And
Mhm.
it just helps us flow, and it just helps us pour out our gifts to others, and it all just feels good and right, no matter what it is. So that's kind of where I went with that.
I love it. I'm glad you clarified that, because you know what? First of all, that's beautiful. I think that there's plenty of people that are thinking the same thing I am right now. It's like I need to get in there and start
When are you
listening
gonna
to
come back
your
here?
podcasts, because the information that you're sharing. Um,
Back inside. I'll be right back. Sorry, my son is right here. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
yes.
Hi. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. I'll
Hello.
be back. I'll be done in like 5 minutes. Okay.
When
We'll
are
we'll
we
have
gonna
it
go
in
get
5 minutes.
lunch?
We'll be in 5 minutes. Then we'll go to lunch. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Adorable. He is
Something
adorable.
else?
Hear about your stuff.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
He's a little mini service hero. Let me give shout outs to your son that when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
at the Park City, and he gets, because it had been snowing, and he went and got the snow shovel, and he went straight to work. And he was
He
actually,
loves doing that.
you
Yeah.
know, and he made a clear path for us to go to that jacuzzi that night. So I want to say thank
Oh,
you to you.
good.
We actually did too. So, all right. So I want to stay true to your promise to your son, and so we'll wrap up here. But I want to explore this just a little deeper, because I know that there's many like me that now, in getting to know you, I want to go in there and I want to listen to these podcasts. I want to do the self-reflection. I want to be hearing what it is that you're learning and how you're learning it. And I get it. I get it because of, again, being a recruiter, an engineering degree, a mom, and someone with an amazing heart that's a deep thinker, old soul. And the combination is a unique combination. And the fact that you feel comfortable being out there sharing on a podcast, on stages, through writing, all the different mediums that you're using, I think we're lucky that you're out there. I'm thrilled. So if you were to right now, if you were to say, okay, if you're wondering about, is this a good path you're on right now? I'm sure you have some questions that you may ask people, or you have them ask themselves, or steps that simple
Yeah.
things. What would that be?
So I would start with, what is the number one feeling that you want to feel in your life? Say you've had an experience in the past that you just loved, or that favorite thing you have to do that you could do it forever because of how it makes you feel. Determine what that feeling is for you. It might take a little bit of time to figure out. For me, that feeling is exhilaration. And so if someone is wanting more joy or more fulfillment right now, all they have to do is to connect with that feeling they have determined is their ultimate feeling of success, or their ultimate feeling of fulfillment. And you don't have to be doing, the big, loud and proud, great things that we all think means to be fulfilled. It's not about the car or the job or the money or the super sexy spouse. Fulfillment is how we feel.
Right.
And whatever that feeling is from you, connect to it every single day. So for me, for example, with exhilaration, I determined all of the different ways that I feel that feeling. For me, one is speaking on a stage. I love that. But of course, I'm not speaking on a stage every single day. But I do, and I feel that when I'm at the gym in an awesome aerobics class I love. I feel that when I'm dancing in my kitchen with my sons to awesome music. I feel that when I'm like hiking on the top of a mountain. And I feel that when I visualize my ultimate dream life while I meditate. So I have all these different things that I do to connect to my feeling. And that's all anybody has to do. You do not have to change your circumstances like that. You do not have to have all of these big things in your life that we think we need to feel fulfilled. All you have to do is to connect to that single most great feeling that's important to you, and you already feel it from the inside out. You got to start in here, and once you have done that and mastered how to do that, then the outside starts to change. Then your mind starts to get in sync with your heart as to creating the life that you want. So that is my number, right? I mean, this could change. Right now, that's my number one
And
thing.
that is so, I'm speechless. I mean, in truth, it seems like, we should all know that. It would seem kind of simple, if you will, but the simplest things, if you will, are the most important and the most valuable nuggets. And the way you put it in such a way that it's like, okay, I get that. I just need to figure out what that one feeling is, because all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, this one, oh, but what about that one? Oh, yeah, and then this one, because we're conditioned to. I'm a very goal-oriented person. I write down, my tasks. I write down my goals. I write down everything, right? And I don't know that many times I write down one thing, one.
Yeah.
That makes you slow down. You need to become like quiet. You need to really concentrate and listen to yourself, right? And then that self-awareness. I mean, this is beautiful. I'm getting it on multiple levels. I'm getting all chilled and everything, because it's like, oh, this is
good.
This is amazing stuff. Sarah, you are incredible. You are an incredible young lady that I can only see that you have such a, I mean, I don't want to put this on, but I see a lot of different people, and I am so privileged to know so many amazing, incredible people. There are very few like you, and you are a gift to to the world, and I just think you're precious, and I just
Oh, thanks.
absolutely am thrilled that you were open to being on the show and that you shared like you did right now, because I do believe you just gave each one of us an amazing gift that we can end up in the end giving ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You
Yes.
guided us to help us to find that gift within ourselves, to then help us to find that life we want and break through, right?
Breakthrough to your beautiful life. Yes. And just along with this exercise we did just now, every single podcast I walk through a simple idea or something that will help increase your awareness about yourself and on many different levels. And I always provide simple steps or a takeaway, an action to do so that you can apply it in your life. Because we can talk all day about great ideas and it's really enlightening. However, once we actually take the action step and start rooting out the weeds in our garden and start tweaking and start building that foundation of our pyramid the right way, that's when things actually change. And so I never want to leave anybody with an awesome idea but not know how to implement it. So I hope that was very
I
helpful for everyone.
absolutely love it, and I had to share this picture just because I think it's precious. And you mentioned your two sons that you dance in the kitchen with, sing and dance in the kitchen, and I did the same
Mm-hmm.
with for years. My kids got to a point where they were embarrassed by it,
Yeah, I
at
know.
some point. Like, my mom's doing it again. She sings off key. Well, I know we promised to let you go so you can take the one, your precious guy to lunch. And I would love for you to be able to share with us. Would you mind in the comment area sharing with us, number one, how do we get a hold of your podcast? How do we get there? How do we listen to you and follow
Absolutely.
you? And if anybody wants to find out more about your magic and your programs, and you're a coach too, right? You have a coaching program?
Yes.
So
Yes, I do.
now, do you take people only that are local to you, or are you working with people on a national level? What is it like to work with you?
At the moment it's anybody anywhere. Right now all I have available by choice is a group coaching program that I do weekly online. That is a group of 20 folks or less at a time so that I can give you more tailored, personalized attention. And
Mm-hmm.
I love the group setting because it's like my Illuminate event. It's small and cozy and you're learning so much from others too. So right now I work with anybody who is willing to take that step and make those changes. And yes, but I will absolutely put the links in the comments below. I'll say them really quick too. If you want to start listening to the Breakthrough to Your Beautiful Life podcast, you can go to sarahbethprince.com/podcast and you'll have your iTunes and Google Play links, anything right there for you to download. As far as the coaching program, the enlightenment experience, I don't have one open right now because we're heading into the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be opening that up again in January. And so if you'd like to learn more about that, you can reach out to me, sarah@sarahbethprince.com. And our next Illuminate event is January 19th, so you can watch
Oh,
out for that.
is that going to be in Utah?
Yes.
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 Because I think I'm going to be up there in January for an event, and so I'll have to see if it's at the same time, because I'd love to see you in action. I just really would. I want to thank
I'd
you.
love to have you there.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say thank you for being who you are, and thank you
There
for
we go.
opening yourself. Oh, yes. Opening yourself up to all the people I love. I already told him he's the same age as one of my grandsons. And so it's like
Oh, yeah.
looking at one
He's
of my
6
guys
now.
right now, he does the same stuff, and I just love it. So thank you for what you're doing, and
Thank you.
being a service hero. And tell him thank you also for what he did when we were in Park City, because
Tamara said thank you for shoveling the snow when we went up to Park City that day. You remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Remember when you did
there?
that? It was
I'll talk to
wonderful
you about
because you know what, the bottom line is here, and I really wanted to, and I'm glad that you're allowing him on, because it was brought up to me that I should have been filming this if it would have been allowed, because there are so many children. So many children need to understand that they have a service hero inside of them. And he was showing everything that a service hero is all about. So I hope that he understands that I'm giving both of you the service hero title for today, for day number 126.
126. It'll be great. Thank you.
126.
Celebrate success through service. I want to thank you both for being service heroes and encourage others out there to remember that you each have a service hero inside of you, and encourage those ones around us, the little guys, that, just doing random acts of kindness. And he actually did it on his own, not asked. He just went out there, saw the need, took care of it. And that in itself says something about you and your family, that you're teaching you service. And I want to do that too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Tamara.
Go out there, make it a great day. Have a wonderful lunch, you two.
We will. Have a good lunch. Can you say bye?
See you later.
Where are we going?
Good question.
Thanks, Tim.
Right?
my tips.
All right.
We'll figure it out.
Have a great one. See you later.
Okay, thanks.
Get your stuff.
Bye.